Thanks, Kelly. Now on AM Extra, a story of hope for anyone who feels like they don't fit in. NewsNation anchor Leland Vittert out with his new book, shining a light on his experience growing up with autism.
Born Lucky follows the bullying and isolation Vittert faced as a child with autism and the relentless support from his father. So here to talk about this new book and what it offers here is Leland himself. Good morning. Appreciate your time.
Emily, Travis, good morning to you. It's good to be with you.
Yeah, great to talk to you. Your story is incredible here. Let's talk about your parents, because your parents never told anyone about your autism diagnosis. So why share this story with this book right now?
Yeah, nobody. Not my teachers, not my sister, not me, no therapists, no special accommodations. My dad thought it was important for me to figure out how to operate and exist in the real world. He said, I'm not going to adapt the world to Lucky, which is my nickname. I'm going to adapt Lucky to the world. And this is a story for every parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, friend who knows a kid who is struggling right now. And Born Lucky provides hope, not just hope for kids with autism, but ADHD, anxiety, social issues, the bullying and difficulties growing up right now, physical disabilities, that parents can make an enormous difference. And you think about when my parents were brought into a psychology testing center, they've been told to go have their kid evaluated. And you know the place, linoleum floors, cheap furniture, stale coffee, old magazines. At the end of it, they bring my parents into a conference room and they say, look, we really can't understand what is going on inside Lucky's head. And I write in Born Lucky about that moment that my dad decided I am going to quit my job and dedicate myself full time to becoming Lucky's coach. And in his words, you didn't have any friends, so I would become your friend.
Wow.
Oh, man, hearing you talk about your dad, I can see why you wanted to dedicate this book to your father. What words of advice or words of encouragement would you have for other parents who, whether they're, trying to get a diagnosis, trying to find some answers, or they are confronted with a difficult situation for their kids? What would you say to them?
Look, this book isn't a cure. It's not a prescription. It's my story. It may be the very first parenting book. Born Lucky is the first parenting book written from the perspective of a kid. So people can buy it themselves and take what lessons they want. I go to Amazon, order it. You can read it. If you didn't learn anything, return it or send me an email and I'll buy it off of you. The idea here, right, is that you want to hold your kid's hand through the adversity. Give you an example. When I was in 7th grade, my parents had moved me to a new school hoping for a fresh start. The principal calls them in after 2 weeks to the principal's office and says, you know what? Everybody at this school thinks your kid, Lucky, is quite weird. Arrow number 1 through my dad's heart. You know what that's like. Then she follows up and she says, and frankly, I think he's pretty weird too. So at that point, everything that was happening to me became my fault. Moved to 8th grade, and an art teacher, okay, none of us in this 8th grade art class are going to become Picasso, right? And this 8th grade art teacher didn't like my art. He looks at me, he goes, if I was as ugly as you, my dog, he said, if my dog was as ugly as you, meaning me, I would shave its rear end and make it walk backwards. He didn't say rear end. Humiliated in school. That night, as I did most days, I came home, my dad was waiting for me at the end of the driveway, and he'd spend 3 hours or 4 hours with me, just putting me back together, hearing about my difficulties, the pain, the isolation, the bullying. And I didn't know this until I wrote the book. But he would leave my room after I cried for a couple of hours. He would walk downstairs to the living room that's now dark. It's 10, 11 at night. And he would sit there and start crying himself. My mom would come out and find him at midnight, 1 a.m. I never knew that. He never wanted my burdens to be his or his burdens to be mine.
Yeah.
But the next morning, he sent me back to school every day.
I just have to ask, I know we're running out of time here, but how does it feel to be where you are now? After all of this, between, your success and your family, the trials and tribulations, and now to put out the book, Born Lucky, available now. I mean, you got to reflect and feel some positivity here.
I feel a lot of positivity. I'm grateful beyond words to my dad. And I think at the same time, I work every day to live up to the sacrifices he made. A lot of people have asked me, do I want to have kids now? I just got married. And you'll see in the book what a saint my wife is. So the answer is I'm inspired, right? Because of what was given to me and the sacrifices my dad made. So to answer your question, I think most directly, it would be grateful, and really acknowledge how lucky I am.
Well, Leland, you know, my heart breaks hearing stories like yours, that was something you had to deal with in your childhood. But I think we have been able to move this conversation about autism, about all types of neurodiversity so far forward, thanks in large part to stories like yours. So we really do appreciate you opening up about this and sharing your story. I think it's going to help a lot of families.
Well, that's the idea. Thanks for letting me share it. Born Lucky's out now. Great to be with y'all.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thank you for joining us. And if you want to grab Leland Vittert's new book, Born Lucky, out everywhere you get your books, and tune in for a special this Sunday at 5 p.m. on NewsNation. You can find links to where you can get your copy of Born Lucky right now on coin.com.